this gives us a much bigger income. It says refer to table 12.9. For this tax schedule, what's the average tax rate for an individual with $280,000 in income? All right, so now we're into Obama land at some level. All right, and I can actually keep this here because I'm still going to use this, right? This person is making $280,000. It's a nice income, right? So now we can pick up right from here, except I have to change this. This person pays 10% on the first 10,000, 25% on the next 20,000, 35% on the next 30,000. All right. Then the person's making $280,000. They're way over this. So the part from 60 to 110,000, that's 110, they're going to pay 40%. So it's 0.40 times $50,000. Right? Because that's how much extra income they get between $60,000 and $100,000. They still make more money than that. So between 110 and 180, they're going to pay 43%. So that's going to be 0.43 times this difference right here, which is $70,000. And we're still not done. Now the person's making, they said, $280,000. So anything over $180,000, the person's going to pay 45% is the marginal tax rate. The person is making 280 minus this bottom bracket here, which is 180. So now the person's going to pay 45% on that marginal $100,000 they're making above the $180,000. Okay? Now, we have to go and compute these numbers. So this is going to be $20,000. 0.43 of 70 is going to be 21, 7 was it 29, so that's going to be 29100, and 45% of 100,000 is clearly $45,000. Okay, so now this person's total tax is going to be adding up all this. Well, we knew this before was this is not. This is 35% of 30,000. Okay, so this is going to be 10,105.00. I think, if I'm correct. 3 5s are 15. Yes. Okay. So now, if you add all this up and divide by the person's income, all right, and I think the total comes out to be 111,600. I see, yes, there's the 600. So 111,600 is the total amount this person will pay in taxes over an income of $280,000. All right. So our tax rate for this person is going to be 111,600 divided by $280,000 in income, and that's going to be, according to my calculator, is going to be 0.398 or 39.8%. Okay, and it's rounded up, so it's 39.9%. So your answer to this question is A in number 4, but again, it's just a more elaborate version of what we were doing. You have to apply each marginal tax rate to the bracket of income that the person has. So again, we'll review this on the next couple of questions. We'll come back to these numbers again, but the basic principle of computing an average tax rate when given the schedule of marginals is very, very important. All right, let's go to number 5. It says, for this tax schedule, what does the total income tax do for an individual making $49,000? Now, you have to go back to what we did before. When the person was making $49,000, we know they paid $1,000 in taxes in the first part, $5,000 on the part from between $10,000 and $30,000, and then on the part from $30,000 to $49,000, they paid 35%, which was $6,650. If you add that up, you get the 1,000, 5,000, and then 6,650 for a total of 12,650. Now, we had that number before, but what they want you to focus on is that this is what you call someone's tax liability. This is what they really owe in taxes. It's not a rate. It's an absolute amount of taxes they have to pay the government. So in this case, the answer is $12,650, and make sure you can get it. The reason is you have to get it because we had to use that number to get the tax rate, right? We had to use that number, that $12,650 divided by the $49,000 to get their average tax rate of 25.7%. So you already got that number, but what this question is asking you is to make sure you know that this is the absolute amount of taxes they have to pay the government, their tax liability. All right? Number 6 is a same version of that, really. It says, refer the tax schedule again. What is the tax liability for an individual making $280,000? Well, our number's right here, okay? It's $111,600. Again, we got that by adding up all the taxes they have to pay for their various brackets of income, right? Because each one gets applied to a marginal tax rate. That gave them this $111,600, which we then divided by $280,000 to get the tax rate, which is different from the tax liability, which is this absolute amount. This person has to shell out $111,000 on April 15th to the IRS, okay? Their average tax rate is 39.8%. Not too far from the truth in the US today. All right. So, we've done tax rates. The next part of this chapter focuses on the different kinds of tax systems. Proportional, regressive, progressive. And each of these terms are actually pretty important. So, these 3 questions are going to kind of illustrate the different kinds of tax systems. So, let me stop here. I'm going to put a new table on the board, and when we come back, we'll go through problems 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right back.